Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my thoughts on Season 2 of Shameless on Showtime. I reviewed Season 1 a while ago, so you can go back into my channel and check that out. Of course, you can just search it in the search bar or just look on my general reviews, discussions playlist. But anyway, I just got into watching Season 2. I did slack off on trying to catch up on it for a while, and I still have around 48 episodes or so to watch before I'm, caught up all the way through Season 6 and stuff. But I'm still thoroughly enjoying Shameless right now. I thought Season 2 is just great, incredible even in certain episodes. And I honestly think it's just getting better and better from this point on. As much as I really liked and even loved certain parts in Season 1, I think Season 2 just kept on building upon itself, and I think it's an incredible show. For me right now, it's moving. It is a dramedy. I don't need to explain the basis of it right now. If you want to talk a little bit more about the setup of the show, of course, you can just watch my Season 1 review. But with that, it is more of a dramedy, like I said. But with this, I feel like it's actually moving a little more into the drama side of things than the comedy. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are still, awkwardly funny and somehow darkly hilarious situations for sure, but what the show is really excelling at, as funny as it can be, is the drama. To me, is just getting perhaps even more impressive, which I'm not really complaining about. I'm kind of happy with that. The characters are getting more and more compelling with every episode, it seems like, and just the acting all around is just great, man, especially from the parts of Emmy Rossum, who plays Fiona, and Jeremy Allen White, who plays Lip. And Lip, he's becoming probably one of my favorite characters on the show. He was getting close to the end of Season 1, but with the way Season 2 went, honestly, he may be my second favorite, only behind Fiona. And I'll talk a little bit more about Lip in a few minutes and what he went through this season, but I just thought the season was great, from Fiona trying to get back into schooling, with her GED, which she actually ended up passing. Just the strength of Fiona Gallagher, man. She carries the whole family on her back, and she is very flawed herself, but we've just seen the weight of it all on her so many times, and it's so brief when we have instances of her actually being genuinely happy. And of course, with the way things ended with Season 1 with Steve, or Jimmy, who is actually also one of my favorite characters in Season 1. So I was happy when he made his return in Season 2, and it seems like he'll be a focus at least through most of Season 3. She was sort of partying more with Jasmine and such. Getting to know guys like Adam and Richard, I think his name was. But she always just kind of longed for what Steve or Jimmy did for her, I guess. She had this feeling that she still wanted to be with him. And, of course, when Steve, or should I call him Steve or Jimmy? I don't know. Even when everyone knows he's Jimmy, they still have a hard time just calling him Jimmy, so... I'll try to call him Jimmy, though, since that's his actual name. But when Jimmy does come back around, you find out he's wrapped up with business with this girl named Anastasia. I forget what her name was. But, this foreign girl. And he basically got involved in this marriage with her because, her father had threatened him otherwise, and he doesn't love her, and she obviously doesn't love him because, she's, chatting with this guy 24/7 on the phone and such, and the computer. But he is basically under threat of, just being tortured or, probably just killed if he ever broke up with her. So he was trying to find a way to, squeak his way out of that somehow. And so when he came back to the Gallaghers, of course, Fiona had absolutely no trust for him. And, of course, that was understandable because he lied about his identity, throughout all of Season 1, and he took so long to finally own up to it. It only came out of a really bad situation. But you cannot deny there's still chemistry between them. And I thought, credit to Jimmy, no matter what happens with him in this future, I feel like he actually did a pretty good part in this season of actually earning some trust from Fiona back. I thought he got a lot more genuine with himself. In the finale, he took her on a date with his family or to meet his family. And it's funny because his mother is played by the actress who played Mrs. Hafer on Drake and Josh, which is a very different comedic type of show, but Drake and Josh was great in its own right, by the way. It's still kind of funny to see her on this. I don't know if I mentioned that in season 1 or not, but I really do like Jimmy. Despite all the lies and such, I think he's a likable character. He's quick-witted. I like his scenes with Lip and their occasional business together. It doesn't seem like I have seen some spoilers about future seasons. It doesn't seem like Jimmy and Fiona will really stay clicking like they are right now. I just hope they don't completely mess up the Jimmy character, though, because I do like him. But I honestly can't see Fiona having chemistry like that with any other character on the show. But we'll see how it goes. So Fiona's during this season, of course, she just went through loop after loop, as she always does. But credit to Lip, man, because with everything with Karen that happened this season with the baby, who Lip had initially thought for a while was his, even though Karen, screwed around with I don't know how many guys since before season 1 started. It provided a really interesting parallel and contrast to Frank. Of course, with Lip holding so much against Frank, of course, he would fear becoming his father, and he would try hard as hell not to be like his father to his child, no matter when he had him. And I just found Lip to be really relatable this season. I felt a lot for him. And of course, just the whole breakdown, him leaving the rest of the Gallaghers at the house. Just really well acted stuff. And my favorite episode of the season was probably the penultimate episode, or episode 11. The episode right before the finale, I think that was called. Let me just check real quick. I did post about it on Facebook because I enjoyed it so much. It was called Just Like the Pilgrims Intended. This is their little Thanksgiving type of episode. Carl ends up shooting a bald eagle and such. But anyway. And then when Lip finds out that the baby isn't his, just his reaction to that, of course, just can't help but feel for him. And of course, we also met Jodi this season. Jodi, of course, played by Zach McGowan, played Charles Vane on Black Sails. Very different character on Shameless for sure, but I had heard about him being on Shameless before. And his character, he comes off like cool, tough, like really smart at first. Only find out he's kind of a tool, a little bit of an airhead. And so his character is alright, I guess. And as far as Sheila this season, I don't know. I appreciate the actress playing her, and she has been amusing at times. But Sheila just got a little bit annoying to me this season. And when her and Jodi do take the baby, they end up being a couple, even though he was initially supposed to be with Karen. Karen just really had no genuine interest in him, though. When they take the baby towards the end of the season, I can see why they did, of course, because Sheila wanting something like that, and Karen just wanting to sort of get rid of her, just give it to the highest bidder, basically. Of course, Sheila's perspective is probably more correct, but I just found Sheila annoying. I don't know what it is about her. But anyway, Lip and everything within the season I thought was the most emotional. And with Monica's return this season, that turned into a lot more than I ever expected from her. I was wondering what more could they do so soon with bringing her back, but they did a lot. They made it seem like she had a genuine interest in being better again for her children, and when her and Frank end up stealing the money, the squirrel fund or whatever it is, just Fiona's breakdown over that, and Lip sort of laying into her about it, and Fiona just thinking things could be different just for a little while. She never expected they would be changed forever, but she almost had a few days of trying to better her own life instead of thinking of everyone else. So I really felt for Fiona there, Lip, and the rest of the kids, of course. And Monica, when she ends up seeing all the reaction to that, it shows a side of her. She gets to take her pills. We find out more about how she has this really depressed, side of herself. Doing with depression and all that. Depressed side of herself doing with depression. How clever am I? But anyway, her depression that they showed this season, it got a lot darker than I expected. Because in that same episode 11, she ends up actually slitting her own wrists, and we see the blood coming out of her, and we see that kind of take up the kitchen a little bit. That was pretty dark. I know it's Showtime, so they can show stuff like that, but it's still one of the darkest things I've seen on TV in a while, really. I've seen stuff like that before, but it's just kind of hard to watch, even for Monica, a character I still don't really like, but just to see the kids' reactions to that, even Fiona and Ian. Of course, Ian exploring his sexuality more this season, and that starts to get around a little more. Frank doesn't really seem to give a shit about Ian's sexuality. And Ian ends up getting involved with Jimmy's actual dad, apparently, so that's going to be kind of a weird dynamic. I'm sure they're going to show more of in season 3. Lip and Ian also had a little bit of a feud this season, as well as Mandy. They recasted Mandy, by the way. I like the actress for her in season 1 quite a bit better. Maybe I'll get used to the current actress for her as the seasons go on, which I'm sure I will, but I don't know why they recasted her, but I thought that was a mistake. One of the few the show makes. But that was all good. Then we also had Kevin, or Mr. Kevin. Of course, Kevin and Veronica taking in Ethel. That provided a different fun dynamic for it. Of course, I wanted to protect her from the cult. They wanted to take care of her on her own. But she ends up going off on her own with this boy she ends up liking. They both have kids. Ethel might pop up again. I feel like she should, but maybe not for a season or two. At least from where I'm at. The whole Find Ethel thing. That stuff was okay. And we also had Frank getting involved with a woman named Jodi who was dying, but he wanted to claim her pension, I think it was. And so he ended up helping her basically kill herself to end her misery by having sex with her, so she'd die. That stuff was okay, I guess. But really, with Monica, I was kind of surprised by her development this season, this stuff they showed with her, but she basically ends up being put in a psychiatric hospital, and she basically ends up being into girls again. Like Frank said, when she's on the pill, she becomes not as into him. And she ends up riding off again into the night, telling Debs that, they're better off without her and such. But I'm sure she'll pop up again. I'm not sure if they'll do it again in season 3, because we have spent a lot of time with her from season 1 and 2 now. But maybe in 4 or 5, I'm sort of expecting. Who knows? But I don't feel like they need to cover the Monica thing again for a little while. But we'll see. Still some stronger stuff from her than I expected this season. And I can't believe I forgot to mention this. We also met Frank's mom this season as well, which I thought was actually pretty fun. Let me just see if I can find the actress for her real quick. Frank's mom, actress. Okay, Louise Fletcher, I think her name is. Yeah, I think. Okay, sorry about this, guys. Fletcher. Okay. Yeah, Fletcher. Okay, Louise Fletcher. She is just a personification of everything Frank has become, pretty much. She's involved in crime. She's probably even worse than Frank is, way worse than Frank is. And we get this episode, I think it's, let me see, I posted about this one too. I forget what episode it was, but when she really comes in, we see Fiona actually sort of feel for Frank and see that maybe his mother had an even bigger hand in spoiling how he is now than they all initially thought. And she had been in prison for a while, but she had gotten released early, and Sheila ends up killing her after suffocating her with a pillow. And she sends money to Frank's other brothers, but not him. And so it's kind of rare when we actually feel directly for Frank, or we see any goodness or anything like that within him. But with that, I think we did a little. We even get a moment where darker moment where he actually has a gun when she's sleeping, and he's just standing there watching her. And Frank, I still like him. I appreciate his, he's like the jackass of the show, to keep making shit happen, even though everyone makes their own shit happen. But I want there to be a moment in the future seasons where Frank actually does something like genuinely kind, and maybe they focus on his relationship with the kids a little bit more again. I would like that. I'd like that to be explored a little more psychologically, which they have before, but I would just like to see Frank develop a little more, maybe change. I'm not sure how much they can change him and keep the show going the way it is. But it'd be interesting for sure. And so there's not a whole lot more I can think off the top of my head to talk about. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff I missed this season. Also, I did like the summer setting of it, and I kind of like the camera work. The cinematography on the show is really good, and I like the different lighting, because in season 1 it was more wintry. It was very like gray and stuff like that, and with this it felt a little bit more bright, especially early on, which I thought was different. And like I said, I liked all the stuff with Ian and Lip this season as well. When they were sort of at odds with each other, their little fight, I thought was really interesting. Lip this season was especially compelling and relatable. Fiona, as always. Frank's mom stuff was good. The stuff that I felt a little bit weak with was everything relating to Sheila, and maybe it was just good all around. Shameless is a damn good show, and it just mixes in drama and comedy still so well, with the drama especially excelling right now to me. I'm really impressed by it. Emmy Rossum deserves Emmys all over the place, and just the whole cast does a great job. So let me know what you guys thought about season 2 of Shameless. How you feel, how it compared to season 1, and without spoilers, how it compares to the rest of the season so far. Anyway, Shameless is a really great show, and I plan on watching more starting season 3 soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anything I left out, any my thoughts on from the season, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to talk about it more with you guys. Sorry if I missed something, but it's kind of hard to do a whole season review in a video. But catch you guys next time. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, lookrandspoileddead.com. Like, subscribe, and peace.